Hello friends, welcome back to TestTechJunction. So in this video, we're going to see how to write a program for prime number, what logic we use to find whether the given number is prime number or not. So let's get started. So the prime number is a number that is divisible by 1 and the number itself. Okay, of course it should be greater than 1. If we take an example of number 7, then 7 is always divisible by 1 and 7 itself, right? So in the number system we have these type of numbers. To those we called prime number. And if the numbers are divisible by any other number other than 1 and itself, then it would not be a prime number. Two things we have to keep in mind here, that 1 is not a prime number and 2 is a even prime number, and also it is a smallest prime number. So these two things we have to keep in mind, and accordingly we have to write a program, we have to pass the condition. So let me show you how we can do that. So to execute our program we have to write first main method, right? So this is my main method, and as I said we have to pass two conditions. First is 1 is not a prime number, and second one is 2 is a prime number, right? So for that we have to write a logic. Before that we should have to declare number. So for now I'm taking number as a 1. Okay, we can change this letter. And if, so to pass this condition we have to use if statement. Okay, so if this number, if its number is equal to 1, then this will not be a prime number. Okay, so if this number is a 1, then this will not be a prime number. Else, if this number will be 2, then this will be a prime number. Okay, so if you add 1 here, then it should print this printing statement because you have passed this condition. And if you give number 2 here, then it will print this one. So two conditions we have passed here. So accordingly if you run the program it will print. Okay, if you change this number, if you run again, it will print 2 is a prime number. So two conditions we have passed for 1 and 2. Now we have to write a logic for a random number. If you give any random number, then it should print whether the number is prime number or not. Okay, now let me add one more condition here. Else, let's take one variable here. So boolean is prime equals to true. I declared one variable so that we can use later for the condition that we're going to pass. Okay, so to check the random number whether it is prime number or not, we have to write loop. Okay, so we are going to use for loop to check at every iteration whether the number gives the remainder 1 and the number itself, or it gives remainder 0. Based on that we will pass the condition, and uh, we will check whether the number is prime number or not. Okay, so let me write one logic here. I'm going to use for loop. So let's declare integer iteration. I will start with a 2. Okay, now this I should be less than or equals to the number we declared above divided by 2, and this I should increase by 1 at every iteration till the condition get true. Okay, so let me explain this logic. So before executing this loop, let me tell you, our intention is to check whether the given number is a prime number or not. And to check a prime number, we must know it should give a remainder 1 and the number itself. If it is giving a remainder 0, then it will not be a prime number. So that we are using this for loop. So in the first iteration, when our I will be 2, then it will check whether the given number is divisible by 2 or not. So let's take an example. Let's take a number 7. So when I will be 2, that time it will check whether 7 is divisible by 2 or not. So as we know, 7 is not divisible by 2. It gives a remainder 1, right? So it will add one more iteration. Okay, and now our I become 3. So when I become 3, it will move to the next iteration where it will again check whether the given number is divisible by 3 or not. So if we divide 7 by 3, again it remains one remainder, right? That means at every iteration, the remainder we are getting is 1, and at last the number itself, that is 7. That means our condition has passed and this is a prime number. So the boolean that we declared is prime becomes true. Now let me tell you by giving another one example. Instead of 7, if you take 10, we know 10 is divisible by 2. So this loop will check whether this 10 is divisible by 2 or not. If it's divisible by 2 and it gives a remainder 0, then it will fail and it will not execute next iteration. It will go to the next line of code, and whatever the logic you have written, we are going to write that logic. So that will execute and will print the statement. That means it will only execute and this is prime boolean will become true only when your remainder remains 1 and the number itself. So this was for the remainder 1 and number itself. What if your remainder remains 0? So for that we have to write one more condition. So if the number percentile I, that is divided by I, remains 0, then this variable, that is this is prime becomes false, right? That's it. Now we have to write printing statements. So for all four conditions we have written the logic. So if we pass number 1, then it should print this is a not prime number. For 2 we have passed the condition and it will print 2 is a prime number when we pass number 2 here. Okay, then if the given number gives the remainder 1 and the number itself, then it will print it's a prime number because this is prime will become true, otherwise it become false. So for that we have to write one more condition. If this boolean is prime becomes true, then it should print this is a prime number. Okay, else the number will not be a prime number. Okay, so now here we have to give a number to check whether a number is prime number or not. So for 1 and 2 we already checked. Let's take random number. Let's take 11. So 11 is a prime number that we know, so it should print 11 is a prime number. Let's take any number that will not be a prime number. Let's take a 30. So 30 is a not prime number. Let's check random number. So this is also not a prime number. Let's check one more time. This also not prime number. So by that way you can check whether the given number is prime number or not.